Guess who got brands talking? Brandlive.co.za.
All right, very good morning and welcome to the midweek motivation here on brandlive.co.za. It's 10 a.m. on a Wednesday every single week. Welcome to the show. I'm Keenan Paulson and we've got a jam-packed show full of motivation, encouragement and inspiration for you. There's so much bad news in the world today, and I promise you that you're never going to hear about death or loss or any negative news without us extracting all the motivation from it. So today I've got a poem by the author called Rudyard Kipling. It's entitled If. I've also interviewing a Forex trader, successful gentleman called Blaine Joseph. And our theme for the day, our theme for the show is how do we translate past mistakes into future success? And this is the midweek motivation here on brandlive.co.za. What is going on around them? They stay focused on their past successes rather than their past failures. And on the next action steps they need to take to get them closer to their fulfillment of the goals that they've set, rather than all the distractions that life presents to them. That's by Jack Canfield, the author of Chicken Soup for Your Soul. Today is all about how to learn from our mistakes, but more importantly, not just learning from them, but how do we avoid being crippled by them and how do we cause them to propel us forward towards our future. So often people are crippled by their setbacks and they don't realize that their setbacks is only a setup for a comeback. Now, if you've ever dealt with anything contrary in your life, you'll know how devastated one can become. You may be going through a loss of a loved one. You may have lost a job of some sort. You may have lost some money. This is certain. Everybody is either coming out of trouble, currently going through trouble, or heading towards trouble. That's for certain. But my question here is, how do we become that light in the darkness? How do we shine that light from within that lets us know the trouble we're facing is completely temporary and we will make it out on the other side? How do we extract that kind of meaning? And that's what the show is all about. So after the ad break, we're going to be reviewing the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Sold over 15 million copies worldwide. That's after the break. This is the midweek motivation here on brandlive.co.za.
brandlive.co.za.
Have you ever thought about the power of social media? Social media has the power to make your business grow. Yeah. Why don't you let us manage your social media? Because our business is to see your business grow. Visit us at www.bstownmedia.co.za.
Making a bold statement yet blending into the surrounding suburbs of Melville, 27 Boxes is a realization of edgy design and practical implementation. A radical departure from the shopping malls of our generation, yet not a return to the high streets of our youth. 27 Boxes showcases the best of a shopping centre set in a garden, surrounded by the bohemian suburb that is Melville. 27 Boxes, shop, play, eat. You're listening to brandlive.co.za.
All right, welcome back to brandlive.co.za. You're here on the midweek motivation with me, Keenan Paulson. We're about to head into our book review. Book is called Think and Grow Rich, written by Napoleon Hill, sold over 15 million copies worldwide, and it's one of the most influential bestsellers of all time. I believe Napoleon Hill is the grandfather of motivation. I believe he basically started this movement that your thoughts can change your reality. And so he says here, it's the essential guide to joining the ranks of the world's most successful people. Now, in this book, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill basically tells the stories of people like Thomas Edison. He explains how Edison actually just wanted a business partner. And this gentleman sought out Edison and did everything possible, even sold all his possessions and just jumped on a train to be where Edison was, because his dream was to go into business with Thomas Edison. And he tells many stories in this book about how your thoughts create the wealth that you want. One of the one of the best parts for me personally was in this book, he gives us a 6-step process to starting to create wealth. And one of the important steps there was decide how much money you want to make. Number one, decide how much money you want to make. Is it $10 million? Is it $100 million? What's the number that you have that you want to make? Then number two is decide what you're willing to exchange for this, because in this world there's no such thing as something for nothing. And Napoleon Hill goes and describes the process that you go through of deciding, what am I willing to exchange for all this wealth that I would like to attract in my life? He then says, go and set a date that you're going to achieve this wealth by. I set the date for myself, the 5th of June 2018. I've got a certain number. I'm going to keep it private for now, and in time to come, I'll let you know how I'm progressing towards that goal. But he says, set a date that you'd like to have the money by. And then one of the final steps is go and write out the date, go and write out exactly what you're willing to do for it, and write out the amount of money that you're willing to that you'd like to attract into your life in a short phrase. So it will go something like this: I, Keenan Paulson, am willing to do radio for the next 10 years in order to attract X amount of money by this date. And that's simply what it is. Or if you were selling cars, I am willing to sell sports cars for the next 5 years up until this date to make the value of X amount of million for that particular person. So whatever it is you do, if you're a car salesman, if you are just an employee working in an administrative role, if you're a manager, if you're an entrepreneur, decide how much money you want, decide what you're willing to do to get it, and then set that date that you want to have the money by. And he says this is the formula to attract all that wealth into your life. That's Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. He's got so much more for us in this book. What a phenomenal read. I think I'm actually going to give this one a reread. It's that good. I was actually chatting to one of the technicians in studio, Andy. He said, that's my favorite book. So if you've not yet read Think and Grow Rich, it comes highly recommended from the MidWeek Motivation team. Right after the break, we have Blaine Joseph, successful Forex trader, in the studio with us. He's going to be talking about Forex, life, and really just the mindset of a winner. So I'm so excited to have Blaine Joseph in studio. That interview coming up right after the break. This is the MidWeek Motivation.
brandlive.co.za. Harnessing the power of talk radio. brandlive.co.za.
Have you ever thought about the power of social media? Social media has the power to make your business grow. Yeah. Why don't you let us manage your social media? Because our business is to see your business grow. Visit us at www.bstownmedia.co.za.
You're listening to brandlive.co.za.
Welcome back to the MidWeek Motivation. I'm here with Blaine Joseph, Forex multimillionaire and founder of Billionaire Forex Group. Blaine, welcome to the studio and thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you. It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Wow, what a humble guy. I mean, I spoke to Blaine for a few minutes just before the show, and one of the people said to me, "Keenan, you look like the millionaire." And I said, well, "And Blaine, what does that make him?" He's like, "Man, I look like the Uber driver." So Blaine, a humble gentleman, man. Thank you for being on the show. Blaine, the Business Day did an interview on you a few weeks ago, and they noted that you made about £300,000. But I mean, is that where you come from? Were you always this person making this amount of money?
Absolutely not.
Tell us about the Blaine Joseph of the years gone by.
Look, I mean, it doesn't just happen overnight. We must be realistic. It didn't happen from the beginning of this year. It took some time.
Okay. How many years are we talking?
3 years, 4 years.
3-4 years?
3-4 years to be consistent enough to a point where you can say, now I'm making money with Forex.
Man.
This is not an overnight thing.
Yes.
Let's just get that out of the way from the beginning. That's the disclaimer.
Okay.
That's the disclaimer people don't know. So I'm from a very small town, Pietermaritzburg, KwaZulu-Natal.
Yes.
So poverty was part of life. Everywhere everywhere you turned around, you saw poverty, and that was just the reality of everybody's situation. That's why for me, I can say above and beyond anything, I was a dreamer more than anything.
Right.
I didn't know how I was going to achieve what I wanted in life, but I knew I was going to achieve it.
Right.
That was inevitable. I worked at a factory at a young age, and for me, more than anything, that made me realize that nothing comes easy.
Yes.
Because you're a boy working with men now.
Sure.
It's a different world altogether.
Right.
And in order to realize your dreams, it's about blood, sweat, cries, But I must also mention that I come from a middle class family. I don't come from poverty as such.
Okay.
My parents did everything they possibly could to make sure that my sister and I were well looked after.
Yes.
So that's the most important part.
Okay, so Blaine Joseph is from a small town, and life was not always as good as it is now.
No.
But there was a dream in your heart, and you never gave up on that dream. Is that right?
Absolutely. You can't give up on a dream, especially when you don't have, how can I say, you don't have a tertiary education to fall back on.
All right.
You need a big enough dream to say that this is it. This is my dream, and this is the only dream. There's nothing else.
You
This
only have a plan A.
Yeah, the plan B is to make plan A work. That's
Okay.
the reality of the situation.
Wow, man. So Blaine, going through the dark days. I mean, you mentioned working in a factory as a boy among men. What caused you to never quit on that dream? Because all around you, the circumstances were telling you, Blaine, this is crazy. You're never going to make it. Everything around you must have been speaking about that. I'm sure there were even voices, physical people saying
Yeah.
you're nuts.
Yeah.
How do you make it through those dark days?
Look, at the end of the day, it was poverty or take the risk, and poverty didn't look so good to me. So, like as I said, I'm a dreamer. So even at my poorest, I never fell into that trap of being it. You understand what I'm trying to say? My parents always taught us that no matter how bad it is, never acknowledge hard times. Like don't focus on that there.
All right.
Always focus on where you're going with your life.
Yeah.
Like that's more important than where you are right now. Dream big, never give up, fail and learn, never make the same mistake twice.
Wow.
That's what's important.
So your parents said never acknowledge the failure that you're experiencing now. Focus on the future.
Yeah, that's important. And also never focus on even when things were really bad at home. Don't focus on how bad things are now.
Okay.
It gets better.
Man, that's
That's
wisdom,
what's
and
important.
that's wisdom for someone today.
Yeah, that's what's
It
important.
may be bad, it may be rough, it may seem dismal,
Yeah.
but the dream in your heart has to be stronger. The voice within has to speak louder than those circumstances.
It has to be. You can't fall into the trap of where I am today is where I'm going to be forever.
Yes.
You can't live like that there.
Yes.
Because if we all lived with that mind state, nobody is going to move forward. We're all
That's
just
right.
going to stay where we are right now.
That's right. You're reminding me of a sprinting coach I had in high school, and he said, Keenan, when you're running in your lane, don't look at the other runners next to you. Keep looking ahead. Keep looking at that finish line.
Absolutely.
Is that's the feeling that I'm getting from what you're saying?
You have to
Look ahead and focus on that.
You have to
Keep running.
You can't look left and right when you're running
Yes.
in a race. You need to run your own race. Focus on yourself. If you're going to keep looking at what the next person is going to do, you're going to lose track of where you're going.
That's right.
That's inevitable. So
That's right.
focus on what you're trying to do. Focus on your goals. Focus on your achievements.
Blaine, you told me in a private discussion, you said, man, for the first 2 years, all I knew what it was like. All I knew was how to fund a Forex account.
Yeah.
That means taking money from your whichever bank you bank with, taking the money from that bank account and putting it into your Forex broker's account. That's all you knew.
That's
for
all I
2
knew.
years.
Yeah, for 2 years. But you must remember the dream was so big.
Yes.
Like you understood that there.
Yes.
It's this or bust. Like what's gonna happen? Like imagine if we all gave up at the first point of failure.
Oh man.
Are we just gonna give up on our dreams then?
No.
So then we're just gonna keep creating new dreams and just failing on them because we're never looking forward and achieving what we want.
Man, that's people that's listening to the show. If there's anything that you're extracting right now, extract this, that the dream in your heart has to keep propelling you forward. Blaine, many people have made money a goal in their life. You know, when I have this particular car, or when I live in this house, or when I have X amount in my bank account. I mean, how do you define success?
The definition of success is just being comfortable.
Okay.
That's success. Like success is making sure that those that you love are comfortable.
Okay.
You know, I don't think there's a number you can put to it.
Yeah.
Because let me explain something. The more money you make, the more you want.
Yes.
So it's like trying to fill a glass with a hole in it.
Right.
You're always just gonna want more. Success depends on how happy you are in your life with those around you.
Right.
That's what's important.
And that's what's driving you, those people that you love.
Absolutely.
Your family and your loved ones.
Yeah, that's who you do it for. You don't do it for yourself anymore.
That's right.
Like I think I'm somewhat of a selfless person. It's not about me anymore. It's about those around me. Like, let's focus on them. Let's take them to the next level. Let's show them that happiness exists.
Yes. Now I believe you've extended your family just beyond, your relatives, and you've included now the Billionaire Forex Group family. And you said to me, it's all about creating wealth for the masses and showing the masses that this is possible.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about inspiring and teaching others.
Look,
that come from the same background as you.
Look, I think what's very important. I must also say that my partner Hangui, I don't talk much about him. He's very private. But we do this together.
Yes.
This is ours together.
Yes.
For us, the most important thing is it's not about trying to teach people how to make money quickly, because we know the realities of it. It doesn't happen overnight.
Yes.
I don't care who you are.
Yes.
You can make money today and you'll lose it all tomorrow.
Yes.
That's the reality of the situation. The focus that we put on it is that we need to figure out a way to show people you need to be independent in the long run.
That's right.
When Billion Forex Group is no longer around, are you going to be able to still make money?
Yes.
That's what's important.
Yes, the consistency and
Yeah.
sustainability is more important.
It's more important than anything. That's what's important.
Blaine, I've heard the statement that you don't have to do the difficult things well. It's about doing the easy things consistently well and doing them excellently day in and day out. Can you give us 3 simple things that you've managed to master that's taken you to where you are?
Number one, I think the most important thing is focusing on myself.
Okay.
That's what's important. Like, you need self-growth.
Yes.
That's important.
Self-development.
You can't look around and try to pull that from other people. It needs to come from yourself firstly. Secondly, you need to have a heart for what you do.
Yes.
Like believe in what you're trying to achieve.
Right.
You understand what I'm trying to say? And
Right.
figure a way to make that work. Lastly, I would have to say that you need to humble yourself, amongst other things. It's the most important thing in life. Like, if you can't be a humble person, like, nobody is gonna have that relationship with you.
Yeah. And I must say, I think you've got humility down. I think you've nailed that one. Blaine, so every single guest on the show has this one question, and it's always the final question. So this is how we're closing out the interview, ladies and gentlemen. Blaine, that motivational song that gets you up, that gets you going, that when you're down, it picks you up. What song is that? And I need you to sing it for me, please.
That's not a problem. I do
Now,
this.
before you go, we've had R. Kelly's songs for 2 weeks in a row. R. Kelly's on a hat trick. What's your song?
No, he's not gonna get it this week. I don't want to compete with that guy. Look, my favorite song.
Give it to us.
I have to sing it in that voice though.
It's okay, as long as there's no profanity, you're good.
Okay. I love you. You love me. We're a happy family with a great big hug and a kiss from me to you. Won't you say you love me too?
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Blaine Joseph, Forex trader, and I think I can tell that he's a father of young kids as well. 2 kids he's showing me here. Thank you so much, Blaine, for coming through and sharing your dream and sharing your advice with all our listeners. It's been valuable. Thank you so much.
Absolute pleasure.
Brilliant. Ladies and gentlemen, after the break, we'll be going into today's discussion, and it's about reflecting on the past mistakes, and I've got 5 R's for you coming up right after this.
brandlive.co.za.
Are you an innovator and solution provider? The Innovation Hub is looking for entrepreneurs in the ICT, advanced manufacturing, bioeconomy, and the green economy sectors.
If you have an innovative prototype or startup business which addresses an existing market need and you're predominantly based in Gauteng, we invite you to apply for one of our incubation programs. For more information, visit theinnovationhub.com or call 012-844-0000. The Innovation Hub is a wholly owned subsidiary of the Gauteng Growth and Development Agency.
You're listening to brandlive.co.za, an industry first in the world of internet radio. Not only are we an internet radio station, we are an internet radio platform for your brand. So why not expose your brand to potentially thousands of listeners and improve your customer relationships and brand equity with podcasts and live broadcasts? Be sure to check brandlive.co.za for more information. brandlive.co.za, harnessing the power of internet radio. You're listening to brandlive.co.za.
All right, welcome to the topic discussion here on Brand Live, the midweek motivation every week at 10 a.m. Today I have 5 R's for you. R number 1, reflect. Now, Margaret J. Wheatley said, without reflection, we go blindly on our way, creating more unintended consequences and failing to achieve anything useful. To reflect means to think deeply and to think honestly about the past, since that's what we're speaking about, how to translate past mistakes into future success. We need to think about and consider the decisions that have brought you to this point in your life. Contemplate and consider and in fact take stock of the day, the months and the years that have brought you to where you find yourself right now. And like staring into water reveals one's reflection, so staring into our hearts will reveal who we truly are. So not only think about, but also be aware that our external achievements and happenings are only a reflection on the screen of space of what's being thought and played out in our subconscious mind. We must know that all the thoughts and emotions that we hold in our subconscious minds will manifest themselves into this reality. And so when we reflect on them, we're able to change them. And so my first R for you this morning is to reflect. Take time out and reflect. The second R I have for you is to renounce. Now, renounce means to formally declare one's abandonment of a claim, a right, or a possession. And today I'd like to just encourage and inspire you to renounce all the negative beliefs and the unserving philosophies that you've held for such a long time. It's time to find out what worked and what didn't work, people. Lay to rest those relationships that hold you back. Lay to rest the thoughts and the beliefs that have held you back. Renounce the negative words that have been spoken over you, and most importantly, those words that have come out of your own mouth. Renounce the patterns of failure and frustration that have taken root in your habits, and renounce every negative influence around you. The first R was reflect. The second R is to renounce. It's time to let the negative energies go. Our third R that I have for you today is to repeat. Continually repeat the successful things that have worked for you. You see, success is a repeatable process, and once you find out what your winning formula is, you need to duplicate it time and time over. Not only for yourself, but for others too. Find out what worked and do it over and over again with more efficiency and more conviction than you did it before. The third R is to repeat. How about repeating the words of affirmation that's spoken over you? Repeat inspirational quotes over yourself. Repeat positive thoughts, repeat the winning formula in your relationships, and repeat the good that has been done unto you. The third R that I have for you is to repeat. The fourth R I have for you is to respect. We can tell where you are because of who and what you've chosen to respect or to honor. Respect yourself, firstly. I think Blaine spoke about that. Respect the time that you have on this beautiful planet. I know that there's a portion of scripture that says, respect your parents and it will go well with you. Respect the time that you've invested into your craft. Respect those people who have wisdom, who give you advice. For me, respect the words of correction that find you. Respect those who know you and who know better. And respect those who are already. Respect those who are where you would like to be. There's a beautiful quotation that says, curse not the king, not in thy thought. Curse not the rich in thy bedchamber, for a bird of the air shall carry the voice, and that which hath wings shall tell the matter. Respect those that are in authority over you. Just be a person that shows respect to every human, because nobody is above anybody else. How about extending some respect to one another? The final R that I have for you this morning is responsibility. Responsibility. 2 questions. Number 1, who is in control? You see, if you look outside of yourself for who is in control, you're looking in the wrong place. We have complete control because of this one thing. We have the power to choose. We have the power to choose our thoughts. We have the power to choose our words. We have the power to choose our actions. The power of choice is the power to control. Who has control? If you say anything else but I have control, you're looking in the wrong place. And the second question I have for you regarding responsibility is, who is to blame? Who's to blame for where you find yourself right now? Who's to blame for the results you currently have in your life? Who's to blame for the way your relationships are? And once again, you have to look within and say, I am to blame, because the one who takes the blame is the one who takes the authority to change it. And this is what I'd love to encourage you with, by taking responsibility. Take the blame and take control, because you are the one that has the power to change it. The Serenity Prayer says it so beautifully. It says, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference between the two. I had 5 R's for you. Let's just run through them really quickly as we recap. Reflect means to think deeply and honestly about the past. To renounce means to formally declare one's abandonment of a belief or negative words. Then, thirdly, repeat all the continual success that you've had in your past. Number 4, respect all those around you, and particularly respect the time that you've had into your craft, and respect yourself. Lastly, take responsibility. This is the Midweek Motivation. After the break, I'm going through Rudyard Kipling's poem called If.
brandlive.co.za.
Have you ever thought about the power of social media? Social media has the power to make your business grow. Grow! Yeah. Why don't you let us manage your social media? Because our business is to see your business grow. Visit us at www.beastdownmedia.co.za.
You're listening to brandlive.co.za.
If you keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good, nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make your dreams your master, if you can think and not make your thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster, and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the thing you gave your life to broken, and stoop, build them up with worn out tools, if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they're gone, and so hold on when there's nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And, which is more, you'll be a man, my son. That's the poem If by Rudyard Kipling. Expresses sentiments of balance, expresses sentiments of polarity, and expresses internal control. Let's close out the Midweek Motivation with our guided visualization. I close the eyes of my body and begin to open the eyes of my mind. My being is filled with love and gratitude. I am absolutely radiant. I'm in the right place at the right time, and infinite peace fills my heart. I see myself healthy. I see myself prosperous. I see myself flourishing. I see myself well. I see myself happy and doing the very thing I was created for. I see myself having, being, and doing the good that I desire. I see myself contributing to the greater good of humanity. I give of myself in every situation. I am richly rewarded. I see myself divinely blessed with health, wealth, and success. I am thankful for this. It is good and very good. This was the Midweek Motivation on brandlive.co.za. brandlive.co.za.
Harnessing the power of talk radio. brandlive.co.za